Welcome back. We are all ready to understand the program that converts the infix string to the corresponding postfix string. I hope that you have understood the algorithm clearly by now. If not, just get back to the previous lectures and try to understand the algorithm. The best way of understanding an algorithm is that just write down the algorithm with some input example. For this purpose, you can take an infix string and you can just go through the algorithm step by step, and you can see how the infix string is converted to the postfix string by this algorithm. That will be the best thing to do for you. Now let us try to understand this program. Definitely we need a stack, and this time the stack is going to contain the operators. So here is the stack that contains a character array. You can see that the character item size, that's the stack array. And I have declared these two functions for the push and the pop operations, opr_push and opr_pop. They are implemented here. You can see that the push operation receives a character and the pop operation returns the character at the top of the stack by deleting the top. Okay, now here is the precd function. Now you need to understand this function clearly before we understand the convert operation. So in this tutorial, I'll be explaining this precd function, and in the next tutorial, I will be explaining the convert function. Okay, as you can remember, the precd function is going to return either true or false by comparing the precedence of the two operators that you pass to the precd function. The precd function is going to compare the precedence of these two operators that we pass to it. It will compare the left-hand operator with respect to the right-hand. That means if the left-hand operator is having the higher precedence, it's going to return true, that is 1. Otherwise, if the left-hand operator is having the lower precedence, then it's going to return 0. The left-hand operator means the left-hand parameter, the first parameter that we pass to the precd, and the right-hand operator is the right parameter that we pass to the precd. That means if you pass plus here to the left and minus here to the right, then the plus as the left-hand operator will have higher precedence than the right-hand operator, that is minus. It's going to return 1. Otherwise, if you are having times operator here and a plus to the left and a times to the right, then it's going to return 0 because the times is having the higher precedence. Now, if you're having parenthesis, if the left is an opening parenthesis and the right is any operator, say the times operator, then it's going to return 0 because the times operator is within the parenthesis and parenthesis is having the lower precedence than the times operator. So it's going to return 0. And if you have an opening parenthesis to the right and any other operator to the left, that means if a times is here and you have an opening parenthesis here, then obviously the opening parenthesis is having the higher precedence than the times operator. So this is going to return 0. This precd in that case is going to return 0. So you can see that we have this if as the first statement there at line number 47. That's going to decide if the left is opening parenthesis or the right is opening parenthesis. In either of the case, it's going to return 0. You can see that it's going to return 0. So if the left is an opening parenthesis or the right is an opening parenthesis, then whatever the other parameter is, irrespective of that, it's going to return 0. Now if you have opening and closing parentheses to the left and right, then say we have opening here and closing here, we know that it's going to return false and we need to pop the stack. So you see that this case is going to be true. The left is opening parenthesis, yes it is. So it's not going to check what is there in the right because OR operator is there. So it's going to return 0. Now if you have a closing parenthesis and any other operator to the left and a right as closing parenthesis, say we have this times here and closing parenthesis there to the right, then you see that left is opening, no it's not, right is opening, no it's not. Now the second if actually it will turn out to be true because right is closing parenthesis, yes it is, so it's going to return 1 because whatever the left operator is, irrespective of that, if you have a closing parenthesis to the right parameter, then it's going to return true. Okay, so these two ifs are actually handling all the possible cases that we may have with the parentheses. Now the other if, the third one, that's going to work if you have times operator or the division operator in the left parameter and times, division, plus or minus in the right operator. In that case, it's going to return 1. That means if you are having, say, times here and a plus here, in this case, this is going to work. This is going to check. You see that the left is times, that is true. or left is slash, that is false, true or false is true. So you come inside here, and right is times, no it is not, it's division, no it is not, it's plus, yes it is, so it is true. And we are having the or operators in between. So one condition, true means the total ORing is going to return true. So here it's going to return 1. So the times operator is having the higher precedence, and indeed that is correct. If you are having something else, say you are having say division here and times here, in that case also it's going to return 1, because the division and the times both are having same precedence, but since the division is on the left hand side, it must be 1. It must be higher than the multiplication. We need to carry out the division first, then the multiplication. So is the left a multiplication? No, it's not. It's the left division. Yes, it is. And you see that you are here. So the right is a times operator, that is correct. So it's going to return 1. The case when this if is going to return 0 is that when you are actually having a dollar to the right hand side. That means if you are having a times here and a dollar here, then the dollar is having the higher precedence. You see that left is times, yes it is. So the right is times, no, dollar, no, plus, no, minus, no, not. So it's going to come here and it's going to return 0. So if you have division as well here to the left and a dollar to the right, then also it's going to return 0. That means false. Now the next if that we have is actually checking if the left is a plus or minus. That means if the left is a plus and the right is plus or minus, then only you are going to have true from PRCD. Otherwise, if the left is minus and right is plus or minus, then also you are going to get true from this PRCD function. Now, if you are having a plus to the left and times to the right, then you see that left is plus, that is correct, but right is plus or minus, no, that is not correct. So it's going to return 0 because the times is having the higher precedence. Okay, now this is the last case. If the left is a dollar, that means if we have a dollar operator there to the left, that means here you have a dollar, then this is true. Left is dollar, yes. Then whatever you have to the right, it's going to return 1. Now don't confuse with the parenthesis. If you have a parenthesis, opening parenthesis here, then this if is going to work. Even if you have dollar to the left, it is not going to come here. This if is going to be true and it's going to return 0 here. So if you are having a dollar to the left and an opening parenthesis to the right, then this first if is going to work. If you have a dollar to the left and a closing parenthesis to the right, then this if is going to work. It's not going to come down up to here. Okay, since you have a return statement, immediately this function is going to be terminated and it's going to return a value. So if you have a dollar here to the left, that means you have something else other than the parenthesis to the right. So if you have a plus here, that means the dollar is having the higher precedence, so it's going to return 1. Otherwise, it's going to return 0. That means if you have a plus to the left and a dollar to the right, okay, it's going to return 0. So for a dollar in the left, it's going to return 1, and else it's going to return 0. So that's how the precedence is implemented using ladder of if else. I think you can just take some values here to this left and the right parameters and just try them with this function, and you'll get to see how that works. Okay, we are all set to write the convert function now. That's going to convert the infix string to the corresponding postfix string, for which we have already done the algorithm in the previous lectures. So now we have written the pre-RCD function using C programming language. We have the stack in place. So now we are all set to write the convert routine. So join me in the next lecture where I'll be writing the convert function for you. Thank you very much for joining.